Welcome to FoodPoint, episode 104, Getting to Know Your Kitchenware. No recipes this week, instead I'm going to share my opinion of which kitchen equipment is essential when it comes to preparation. Most of you probably already have cupboards and drawers full of equipment that you've somehow collected over the years. It happens to all of us, but maybe it's time to cut back and take stock of what you actually need. Or, if you're just moving out on your own and aren't really sure where to start, maybe this could be useful for you too. Firstly, bowls. Be it glass, plastic, ceramic or wooden, bowls are definitely indispensable when it comes to prep work. Instead of buying mismatched bowls here and there, I think it's worth buying a set of bowls of the same style. Not only can you feel happy that everything matches, but it makes it easier to store them as everything is the same shape. I use glass bowls because cling film seems to adhere better, which is good when you need to refrigerate something overnight. Secondly, measuring jugs. As with the bowls, it is beneficial to have more than one size jug in the kitchen. Thirdly, measuring cups. While you get much of the same functionality with measuring cups as you do with the jugs, sometimes you need it on a smaller scale and it's just easier than using a jug. Next, measuring spoons. Pretty self-explanatory, and really just a smaller version of the cups. Some recipes do call for fractions of a teaspoon, and that can be very difficult to estimate without using equipment. If you don't want to buy a full set of spoons and cups, for whatever reason, a rough guide is 3 teaspoons to get approximately 1 tablespoon, and 4 tablespoons is roughly a quarter of a cup. I consider a whisk to be absolutely essential. You'll actually tend to use it more than you'd think. Next we have knives. As with the bowls, a matching set of knives comes in very handy, particularly if they come with a knife block. You don't need anything too fancy, but it's probably worth it to get the best quality knives you can afford. Keep an eye out for bargains to pick up a set from a well-known brand for a fraction of the price. You could make do with only 1 or 2 knives. I've done it for years previously, but it wasn't until I bought a knife set that I began to appreciate that each knife has its own purpose. Most knife sets would probably include some or all of the following. A large chef's knife. This is a great multi-purpose knife which can be used for most cutting jobs around the kitchen. A serrated utility knife. I really just use it for slicing bread, which it does well, but it's also good for soft fruits and vegetables like tomatoes. A vegetable knife or santoku knife. As the name indicates, great for cutting up vegetables, but also fine for meat. A paring knife. I basically use it like a smaller version of the vegetable knife. A basic utility knife. This is essentially a smaller version of the chef's knife. It's good for basically all the same things, but on a smaller scale, which allows a bit more control. A peeling knife. Honestly, I'm a bit dubious when it comes to using a knife for peeling, so I tend to use a normal vegetable peeler. But this knife still comes in handy for little jobs here and there, when you can't be bothered using a bigger knife. If you buy a knife sharpener, make sure that you read the instructions before you use it. If used incorrectly, a knife sharpener could completely ruin your knives, which is a shame if you've spent some decent money on them. The right cutting board is also important. I use a bamboo cutting board as it's less resistant and therefore causes less damage to knife blades. Next, cooking utensils. You don't really need too many of these. A wooden spoon and spatula. I prefer wooden tools to other types as they seem to be the best all around for cooking. Metal utensils can scratch pans even if they claim to be metal utensil safe, and plastic or silicone utensils sometimes melt even if they say they're heat proof. That being said, I do also have a silicone spatula that I use quite frequently, but never on the cooktop. A sieve can be used both to sift flour and to strain soups, jellies, custards, etc. Plus, if you made a small amount of pasta or boiled vegetables and don't feel like dragging out a big colander, it could come in handy for that too. Lastly, and this is optional, a microplane. I seem to get more flavour out of garlic when using a microplane as opposed to a regular garlic crusher. Plus you can also use it to finely grate ginger, parmesan cheese, and also zest oranges, lemons and limes. If you don't have one yet, I highly recommend that you get one and try it out. Most are fairly reasonably priced, so give it a go and hopefully you'll be as satisfied with it as I am. And there you have it, my recommended kitchen prep kit. I hope that you've been able to pick up something useful from this video. If not, I'll be back next week with more recipes. Please click the boxes on the right for some of my previous recipes, and if you like what you see, please subscribe and stay tuned for more.